Is your side hustle actually making your family safer? I want to start with a month I never want to repeat. One morning, one of my businesses just stopped. An Amazon platform had flagged the account. No warning, no timeline, no income, and the frozen payouts from the previous sales gone too. For a month. The sales did not disappear because business failed. They disappeared because one decision made by someone else or something else was all it took. And the part that scared me the most was not the money. It was how fast it happened. That month taught me something I had not understood before. Income and security are not the same thing. A business can look stable on Monday and be frozen by Thursday. And a family living on a single fragile source, whether a salary or a business, is not protected. It is exposed. That is why today we are running the economic insurance audit. Because a business that only works when nothing goes wrong is not freedom. It's another job with worse hours. The normal advice says build a side hustle, make extra money, then scale. Simple. But here is the hidden problem. More income does not automatically make you safer. Sometimes it makes you more fragile. Something can look strong right up until the moment it breaks. And often the weakness was there all along. Hidden, unseen, ignored. That is what happens with a lot of businesses. From the outside they look successful. Inside they depend on one problem. One customer, one exhausted founder, one fragile system. I call this the freedom illusion. The business looks like freedom, but underneath it creates more dependency, more stress, more pressure, more risk. The scary part is that many dads only discover this after they have invested years, after evenings, after weekends, after family sacrifices. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. That is what disruption does. It exposes weak foundations. And the question for us is simple. Would your business make your family stronger if life got harder tomorrow, or weaker? That is what the economic insurance audit reveals. 4 categories: income stability, time dependency, family margin, exit trigger. Think of this like a home insurance check. You do not wait until after the fire. You inspect before the emergency. That is what we are doing. First, income stability. How dependent is your income on one source, one employer, one customer, one platform, one offer, one traffic source? The question is not whether it is working. The question is whether it survives disruption. Score yourself from 1 to 5. 1 means extremely dependent. 5 means diversified enough that one loss does not create panic. Most dads start at 1 or 2, and that is normal. This is not judgment, it is awareness. Because options reduce pressure, and pressure destroys decision making. Second, time dependency. This one hurts because many side hustles secretly recreate employment. Everything depends on you. You. More you. If you stop working for 2 weeks, what happens? Honestly, not the optimistic answer, the real answer. Do leads stop? Does income stop? Does progress stop? Score it. 1 means everything depends on you showing up. 5 means some value continues even when you are absent. In the beginning, every business depends heavily on you. That is normal. But if your business requires endless availability, you have not bought enough freedom. You have rented the responsibility. Third, family margin. This is the category almost nobody measures, but it might be the most important. How much pressure does the business place on your home? Emotionally, financially, mentally. Here's a simple test. Does your partner feel safer because of the business or more anxious? That question cuts through a lot of noise because the business can be profitable and still create instability. If every spare hour belongs to the business, every conversation becomes about work. Every weekend becomes recovery. You have created growth without margin. And margin matters. Margin is breathing room. Margin is flexibility. Margin is the difference between pressure and panic. Here's your micro action before we get to category 4. Score the 3 categories you have just heard. Income stability, time dependency, family margin. 1 to 5 each. Write your numbers down now, then drop your weakest category in the comments. Not full analysis, just one word. Income, time, or margin. We'll come back to the total afterwards. Fourth, exit trigger. This is where many dads get stuck because they have no definition of enough, no milestones, no target, no trigger, just vague hope. And vague hope creates vague timelines. The question is this: what specifically would you need to be true before you reduced hours, changed roles, or left your job? Not quit, triggered, because triggers create calm. Examples: 12 months of expenses saved, 3 recurring clients, a specific monthly income, a replaced percentage of salary, consistent demand across 90 days. The number doesn't matter. Clarity does, because when the trigger is undefined, every emotional day becomes a decision day, and emotional days make terrible strategic decisions. Now score all 4: income stability, time dependency, family margin, exit trigger, 1 to 5. Maximum score 20. Under 10, your focus is resilience, not scale. 10 to 15, you are building foundations. Over 15, you're creating genuine options. And options are the real goal, not escape. That is the shift from pressure to resilience. The takeaway is this: the best business is not the one that grows the fastest. It is the one that gives your family more flexibility when life gets hard, more breathing room, more resilience. That is what economic insurance actually means. Not getting rich, building a family that can absorb the unexpected. The Amazon month taught me that the business looked stable, the income looked real, until someone or something else controlled access. That experience changed how I think about risk permanently. Because risk is not what you see. Risk is what happens when the thing you did not expect finally arrives. Every family eventually faces something unexpected. The goal is not predicting it. The goal is building enough resilience to survive it without falling apart. You do not have to wait for your own frozen month to ask these questions. Your move this week is the economic insurance audit. Score yourself from 1 to 5 in each category: income stability, time dependency, family margin, exit trigger. Then identify the weakest score. Not all 4, just 1. That becomes the next problem you solve, because the strongest businesses are not built by chasing growth everywhere. They are built by reducing fragility one layer at a time. And that is how you build something that actually protects your family, not just impress strangers.